What's going on, YouTube? What's going on, riders? It's your boy Infinit Ryda, and we're here at Independence Harley-Davidson on the Riding Academy range. And today I wanted to do something a little different. Today we're going to be talking about a better option for newer riders, because a lot of newer riders are looking for that first bike. But actually, let's get on the bike and we'll talk about it then. Okay, let's get her cranked up. There we go. If this is your first time swinging by the channel, welcome. If you enjoy videos related to motorcycles, motorcycle review videos, anything that has to do with motorcycling, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give this video a big thumbs up, and make sure you comment below. Also, share the content. The more the merrier. More people who see the videos, the more likely we'll get more riders on the road. And that's the goal, isn't it? So today, we are going to be talking about an excellent option for newer riders. So I am out on our pre-owned Street 500. And this bike is going to be literally the perfect option for someone who has just went through a riding academy class or someone who has just learned how to ride. This is going to be a better option than hopping on a 250 of the metric brand. I'm going to tell you a couple reasons why. So I feel like the Street 500 was aimed at a particular market. It's aimed for those individuals who plan on doing mostly city commuting with a little bit of highway commuting, bar hopping, going back and forth to the bar, just want to get out and have a nice little enjoyable ride, things like that. Not someone that plans on taking a very long commute or being on the highway frequently. And it fits in that genre perfectly. It's going to be a much better option than hopping on a metric, let's say like a GZ 250 or a Honda Rebel 250 or some of those motorcycles, and I'm gonna tell you why. So first off, let me start with a story. I like to tell stories, and this story may help you understand why I feel like this is a better option. So a while back, there was this woman who decided she wanted to do a motorcycle class. She took the motorcycle class, and while taking that motorcycle class, they provided them with Honda Rebel 250s, Suzuki GZ 250s, and things like that to ride during that class. She enjoyed the class, she learned to ride, and she felt like since she took the class on that bike, that would be a great option for her, and she would love that bike and be able to keep it long term. Sorry, I was turning here. So she went and got her motorcycle endorsement, and there were so many different options out there, but she really wanted the bike she learned to ride on in class. So she located someone selling a Suzuki GZ 250. The bike was in immaculate condition, had about 8,000 miles. No, actually it had about 7,000 miles on it or so. And the guy was selling it for a really good deal. So she ended up picking up the bike, got it home, rode it a few times, had a good time on it, because again, she was just learning to ride and she was excited about that. So she rode it, got out, got on the road, rode it a little bit. A few months later, the bike stopped going out as much. She stopped riding it. She didn't get out on the bike as much. All of that excitement went away. Fast forward, she decided she wants to get rid of the bike because it's not fun to her anymore. She doesn't like that bike. So she ended up trying to sell it, and it was extremely difficult to sell because they don't hold their value. That's the problem with those metric 250 bikes. The best offer she got on it was $800. And the reason I know all of this is because that's my wife who bought that bike, and we still have it in the garage to this day, and she's stuck with it. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm gonna hop on the highway here just so you can see that the Street 500 can handle the highway, it can handle city commuting, and it's an excellent bike for someone who has just learned how to ride. It's not going to be like a GZ 250 or a Honda Rebel 250, because I've ridden those as well, and putting those on the highway is literally like torture. Like, they can't get up to speed. When they're up to speed, you're literally maxing them out. And as you can see here, the speed limit is 70 in this area, and I'm just a little bit under 70, and that's because of the flow of traffic. But I don't feel like I've reached the end of my gear. I still have a little bit more room to keep riding, and I feel comfortable on the bike. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't going to be something that an experienced rider would just fall in love with, but it's a great option for commuting and for newer riders. It even has passing power, which I'll show you in a second. We'll go around here and pass this car. And I still have another gear to switch to. So it definitely has the passing power that you need. And it can handle the highway without an issue. So the reason I'm showing you all of this is because I want to explain that this is a great starting point to grow with. If someone was intimidated by getting one of the larger bikes or one of the bigger motor Harley-Davidsons, or just didn't want to jump in and spend that much up front, the Street 500 would be a great option. And it's going to be a better option than jumping on a Honda Rebel 250 or Suzuki GZ 250 or any of those metric 250 motorcycles, because most of the time newer riders catch on quick because they just learned to ride. They're going to be out riding a lot, and they're going to end up getting very bored with one of those bikes pretty quickly. So therefore, it's not going to be a long-term solution for them, and it turns out to end up being a waste of money and most of the time. But with something like this bike here, you still got a little bit of style, because I think it looks way better than any of those other metric bikes as far as the ones I previously named. It looks a lot better than those to me. That's my opinion. Everyone has their own opinion. It still has a little bit of style. And the biggest thing is it's going to hold its value. Harleys hold their value tremendously well. So if you were to get into something like this, you could take it out, you can ride it, you can learn on it, you can grow with it. I mean, you could keep it long term. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this bike. But the thing is, when it's time to upgrade or get rid of it, you'll have more value in this bike than you would one of those other bikes, and it'll be a lot easier to trade up or move up into something different. So don't make the mistake that my wife ended up making, and I tried to talk her out of it. I'll be completely honest. I tried to get her to get into something different. We were looking at Beals, and we didn't look at these at that time. It was a while ago, but we were looking at some better solutions, but she was just stuck on getting that specific bike. And that's the GZ2, any of the 250 metric bikes, I honestly would pass those up unless you plan on getting one and keeping it long term. That's the only way I would say get one of those, because you're not going to get your money back or even half of your money back for those things. So now that I've explained to you where this bike fits in, and we're almost back to the dealership, why not test out the mini twisties? So let's see how it handles. It's such a small and unintimidating bike that makes it a tad bit fun to ride. Now, does it have a ton of power? No. It's putting out about 29.5 foot-pounds of torque, but it's a lot more power, or it feels like a lot more power than the metric 250s. And again, this is a 500cc motorcycle. This is a great starting point with room for you to grow. So if you're watching this video, you're probably trying to find out or thinking about what would be a great starting bike. I myself say a great starting bike is the bike that you want to own, the one you plan on keeping long term. Because the biggest thing is, the more you like the bike, the more you're going to ride it. The more you ride it, the more you're going to learn, and the more you're going to advance, and the better you're going to get in your craft. If you buy a bike just because you're a new rider and you're like, oh, I want a beginner bike, then you may not get out and ride that bike as much as if you had the bike you really, really wanted. So think about it that way. But if you do want to get a motorcycle to learn on, or something in the beginner realm, I guess I'm trying to say, look at the Street 500 as an option, because it's going to be a much better option for you. Well, thank you for spending this time with me here today. I hope I was able to give you some type of advice in regards to looking at a bike to get. But again, as I stated in the beginning of the video, if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like and comment below. But it's your boy Infinite Ryda, signing out. Be blessed, stay safe, and the biggest thing, get out there on two wheels, people. Deuces. I'll see you in the next one.